Will Goldstein here again. Subject to this video is why not an anthropomorphic God? It's a case for that, and using some scriptures and some other things, and basically in history and perspectives. And there's not a lot of religions except for Judaism and Christianity. They put a lot of emphasis on that in the Greek mysteries. The deities were, for example, Zeus and different deities. So if you're looking at the history of religions, that's mostly like deities could be male and they could be female. They were involved in love and war, and they had children. They represented different things in the world: beauty, fertility, wisdom. The seasons, they could be have something to do with that. Different qualities or characteristics, power, or even negative ones. Greed, hatred, anger, jealousy. So these manifestations in the Greek mysteries, with Zeus and all of the whole clan down, the Poseidon and all of them, and they're all out of Mount Olympus. But and there's the case that people bring against the idea of anthropomorphic God is limitations on God. That seems ridiculous to them. They see God more in terms of pantheism or transcendental, just completely out there, and we don't have any idea. So for when humans have a belief system that has a God that has, say, emotions, well, that's too much like a human, and just characteristics with actions that humans do that are similar to mankind, and they can't possibly conceive that the God that created the heavens and the earth could possibly limit himself to this. Now, in Judaism, Judaism is kind of strange in that way because, Jews would say be against anthropomorphic God, and yet a lot of their scriptures clearly state that there is. So it's so I'm going to go with that side of it. And so there's, and there's also cases in art. So the most obvious one is Michelangelo's painting of God in the Sistine Chapel and stuff like that. But I'm going to give you some cases in scriptures that you might possibly be aware of. But the big thing in scripture is there's a couple of things to think about. God and what aspect of God is that in terms of Christian perspective, the unit of the Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. So what aspect of God is that? And the other thing that we really consider is the angel of the Lord, or Yahweh's angel. Many people believe that is a pre-incarnate Christ. So the Logos, basically, God the Son. So pre-incarnate, meaning before Jesus was born as a virgin. So if he's God, then that means he exists, with God from the beginning before the beginning of time. And so, so that's the angel of the Lord. And that's where a lot of these references of seeing God use the term angel of the Lord or Yahweh's angel. So I'm going to go back to the beginning. So, and I'm going to paraphrase these because otherwise I won't make it through to the end of these. So, but this is Genesis. I'll give you the verses though. Genesis 18, 1-8 is basically the story of Abraham. Well, actually, I should have gone back to. Everybody knows the story of Adam back in the garden, walking in the garden. So you just look at the beginning of in Genesis, and you can find the stories of Adam and Eve walking with God in the garden. So that would be the first one. So, there's other encounters that, for example, where Noah encountered God, but I'm gonna basically start here with a main encounter, which would be Abraham. So the Lord appeared and I'm paraphrasing, to Abraham by the oaks of Mamre, and there were 3 men, and they stood in front of him, and he went out to the door, and he bowed before them, and he brought them some water, and he invited them in to wash their feet and all this good stuff. And then he went to his wife Sarah and asked her to prepare a meal. So they got the calf and they prepared that, and they all sat down to eat. And there was curds and milk, and they had the calf that was prepared, and they all sat down and ate and had a conversation. And there's more to the story about him telling about the birth of Isaac, God. But this is clearly a case where it says right at the beginning, and the Lord appeared to him by the oaks of Mamre. And he's talking to him, and Abraham definitely recognizes him as God that is sitting down. And then after that, he and the 2 angels, I guess they're angels that were with him, then they left, and that's when we have the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. So and that's also in that with Abraham pleading for Sodom and Gomorrah, and that's how he ended up saving Lot. So, and then as far as Isaac goes, this is why we have the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and you can see why, because God appeared to Abraham, and now with Isaac, he went up from there to Beersheba. Yahweh appeared to him, and the him is Isaac, the same night, and said, I am the God of Abraham your father. Don't be afraid, for I am with you and will bless you and multiply your offspring for my servants Abraham's sake. So he appeared to Isaac. Now how he appeared, we don't know, but it says that he appeared to him. And then in Jacob, now we have the story of him wrestling, with the angel of the Lord. And so it was at night, and basically the story is he's fearful because he's going to go back and he's going to end up seeing his brother Esau, who he had been away from for a very long time, and he's afraid that he's going to have a very violent encounter with his brother, which didn't end up happening. But he was very fearful, and so he just kind of like he took his 2 wives and his servants and his 11 sons and crossed over the ford of the Jabbok. The Jabbok is a stream. So they were on one side of the stream and he's on the other. And he sent them over the stream, and Jacob was left alone, and he wrestled there with a man till the break of day. And when he saw that he didn't prevail against him, the man touched the hollow of his thigh, and was as he wrestled, and it strained it. So Jason said, so the man says, let me go, and Jason says, I won't let you go until you bless me. And he asked about his name, and he says, why do you want to know my name? And then he said to him, your name will no longer be called Jacob, but Israel. So this is the encounter where Jacob actually obtains the name of Israel, which is the nation, obviously, Israel. For you have fought with God and with men and have prevailed. Jacob said, please tell me your name. And he says, why do you want to know my name? And so he blessed him there, and Jacob called the name of the place Peniel. And this is what he said, I have seen God, and here's an important phrase in the Bible, face to face, and my life is preserved. So that was Jacob's analysis of the situation. He saw God face to the face. And so the sun rose in the morning, and he took off limping on his thigh. Now we have Moses, and there's the story, of the burning bush. And so he's out there near his father-in-law, Jethro, and he goes up in the wilderness, and that's where he sees the flame of fire. But it says, Yahweh's angel appeared to him in a flame of fire out of the middle of a bush. So again, it's Yahweh's angel of the Lord. It's not just the flame, the bush is is there, but the angel is appearing out of it, of that. And so it tells him to take off his sandals, and the place that you're at is the holy place. And Moses hid his face because he was afraid to look at God. So again, an anthropomorphic God. Moses sees the back of God. Is in that story was Exodus 3, 1 through 6. This story is Exodus 33, 18 to 23. And Moses says to God, please show me your glory. I will make all my goodness pass before you, and will proclaim Yahweh's name before you. And he says, you cannot see me, for a man shall not see me and live. And then God told him, there's a place by me, you stand on the rock. It will happen while my glory passes by, that I'll put you in a cleft of the rock, and will cover you with my hand until I pass by. Then I will take away my hand, and you'll see my back, but my face shall not be seen. So again, we have an encounter with Moses and God. And then even Joshua, when he's going out to battle as the angel of the Lord. Joshua was by Jericho, and there was a man standing in front of him with his sword drawn, and he asked him, he says, are you for us or against, or for our enemies? And he said, no, but I have come now as commander of Yahweh's army. So this could be a pre-incarnate Christ, but he's there as a commander of the army when Joshua is going into the promised land. And the prince of Yahweh's army said to Joshua, take off your sandals, for the place on which you stand is holy. Okay, so, and then Hagar, even Hagar saw the angel of the Lord when she left. Running out of time here, but she left because she had some problems with her Sarah, and she had Ishmael, and they were taken off. And this is you can look it up, Genesis 16, 7 to 14. And he visits her, and then at the end of it, she says, you are a God who sees. Have I even stayed alive after seeing him? Basically saying, I've seen God and I'm still alive. So I think the point that I'm making is, look, we have a conclusion about this, and that in the Trinity, we have a transcendental God, God the Father, who's kind of what meets a lot of people's criteria for who God is. And then some people really want to go into pantheism. Well, Christianity, I think probably would be more inclined a little bit, or at least certain aspects of it. For example, the Orthodox Church would be more inclined towards accepting panentheism, where God is outside of nature, transcendental, and then in nature, working through nature, even working through us as human beings. But then in the Trinity, you have the personal God, the Logos, and that's the personal one. And the point I'm trying to make is, if God is powerful enough to create the heavens and the earth, why shouldn't he want to put on animal skin if he wants to, and to reveal himself? Because after all, he is a personal God, and he wants to be a personal God. This is his creation. He created us in his image, and he wants to have an opportunity, basically, to have the family of God. Are you a big G God and little g gods? Sort of like King Arthur and his round table, with all the knights. That's basically my version of it, because there's an eternity before us, and he wants to create a family of God. And there's nothing that's too powerful to him. I mean, if we believe that he can create the heavens and the earth, why do we try to put him in a box and say he can't do this, or he has to be this kind of God? His ways are higher than our ways, and he can work in many facets. And to try to compare him in some aspects where we put him in the box that humans are in, and say, well, he has to be in that box. Well, he's not going to fit into that. He's going to do his thing the way he wants to do it. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you like these videos. And we should be happy that he chose to appear like man. All right, bye.